Thanks for tuning in to Proline TV for another NASCAR starting lineup report as we talk about New Hampshire and the Mobile 1 301. And as you can see there, Team Penske kicking butt with Logano and Blaney on the front row. Ford in general off to a really good start. And we're going to go into this. And remember, we talked about this on Tuesday. And this is why I really hope that, if you got the time, check out the link in the description of this video. We did the report earlier this week. We do it every Tuesday, and we really get an opportunity to go in depth on a lot of this stuff that I just don't have the time to cover on this show. One of the things that we did go over, though, was the fact that, and this is going to be important, that qualifying so far, we only have 3 races next gen at New Hampshire. So we do not have a lot of data to go on. But from what we know so far, qualifying matters. Practice has not. And based on what I saw today, I think that's pretty much going to be the case again tomorrow. So very important to start in the top 5 because all 3 race winners have done that. Good news for 4 playoff drivers, as you can see there. Let's go over it too, because here's the thing. Out of the top 10 in qualifying, okay, Logano through SVG, only 2 drivers practiced well. Only 2. Blaney, who had a top 5, and Byron, who was the fastest. And remember, once again, we have the same situation going on. Group A is getting out there early. They get a faster run. Group B, with all the better cars than the playoff drivers, they get a slower speed. And that's makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of figure things out. But for the most part, under that scenario, it just is what it is, that a lot of those drivers, whether it would have been in Group A or Group B, whatever the case, a lot of the drivers like Larson, Reddick, Elliott, Bell, Hamlin, Logano, Briscoe, Cindric, Chastain, they just didn't have good practice runs. They were pretty slow. All right. But doesn't matter at New Hampshire. So we are told, or so we've investigated over the first 3 races with next gen. Also keep in mind that the next gen races were July, I believe. I think one might have been in June, or all of them in July, something like that. First one in the playoffs and in September, mid to late September. So keep that in mind, whether or not you think that matters. Okay, so let's go through this. Logano. All right. Logano was 7-1 on Tuesday. And he's got a couple of wins here. Matter of fact, he's got 9 top 10s in his last 14 races at New Hampshire with 7 top 5s, a runner-up and a win. He does have a runner-up in 3 next gens, but he also has 2 pretty bad results. The thing that we did not like about Logano, or at least I did not like about him, was his odds at 7-1 based on what I've seen in next gen and what we've seen this year from Logano. Now he's on the pole, so you've lost all value. I don't really think Logano's odds are going to drop very much. I think you're still going to be able to get 7-1, 6-1, as long as you still get that. Now, now we're not getting bad value. Now, okay, I think it's okay if we get 6-1, 7-1 on Logano. He's on the pole. I'm fine with that. Anything less than that, and I'd rather take a pass. Now, with Blaney, the thing with Blaney is, and we've seen this a lot this year on these types of tracks, these are tracks that should suit him, these shorter tracks. But he does not have, on some of them, he does not have good histories. This is one of them. This has not been a great track for Blaney, even though he does have a couple top 5s, but he hasn't had any in the next gen. He started 11th or better in all 3 next gen races. So this is not uncommon for him. His average start is 6.2. His average finish is 17.5. So what do we make of that? The fact that everybody seems to be saying that he might have the best car out there. If you were thinking of taking him at 7-1 or 6-1, you're not getting that now. I think Ryan Blaney might go off as the favorite now, or at least co-favorite with Chris Bell. It might be Bell 4-1, Blaney 4-1, something like that. I don't know, because we'll get to Bell in a minute. So if Blaney goes down to 4-1 or something ridiculous, there's just no more value on him. Josh Berry, yes, he had a much better day today, but are we really going to believe that he's going to go ahead and win this race? The good news for Josh Berry fans, if you can still get good odds, is that he was 40-1 and he finished 3rd in this race last year. All right. He started 10th in that one. He also finished 4th at Phoenix, one of the similar tracks. So, look, I don't think you're getting 40 to 1 now, but still, I think you should get a big, healthy number. And you might want to consider Josh Berry a good sleeper. Tyler Reddick, he was at 15 to 1 coming into the week. Now, Toyota, that's also something that we have to throw in there. Toyota was the car to beat because Toyota is 3 for 3 in the next gen, with Christopher Bell winning twice and Truex winning once. So we thought Briscoe would have a good day or a good weekend. And so far, he has not had a good weekend, which once again, this is why I've said this before. It's kind of a crapshoot with Chase Briscoe, trying to figure out, just because Truex does well, does that mean Chase will? Sometimes it does, and sometimes it hasn't, or sometimes it has, and sometimes it hasn't. And it looks like so far it is not. But getting back to Reddick, he was 6th in this race the last 2 years. That's nice. He has never started in the top 5 before, so that's good. So I think Reddick driving a Toyota at 15 to 1, I still think you're going to get double digits with Reddick. So all of a sudden now he is definitely in play, even though he has not performed well on the 3 most similar tracks that we have with New Hampshire. William Byron. All right. William Byron, here's interesting, because we talked about Byron, and he was like one of those top drivers that we just agreed, no, not interested in William Byron. He was 11 to 1. His best finish in next gen is 11th. He has started 7th or better in all 3 races, and here he is starting 5th. But he did have the fastest car in practice. That has to say something, right? Well, I think it does, but here's the problem. He has an average finish of 17th in 7 races. He's never finished in the top 10, and he's only led 9 laps. So, yeah, I can't do it. Look, if you're getting 10 or 11 to 1 again, it's up to you. Consider it, but I'm all out. I don't have an interest in William Byron at this point, and especially if those odds come down. But he is definitely the best driver here. I shouldn't say definitely. As far as, who combined the best between practice and qualifying, it was Byron 1, Blaney 2. It was kind of close, but definitely Byron 1, Blaney 2. Hocevar with the 6th place finish, and I wouldn't, I just looked, I jot this down as another good Coast and Hocevar qualifying run, and that's about it, because he has not done well on the similar tracks, and he was 17th last year here. So I don't see anything that leads me to believe that, boom, this is his week. Alex Bowman did nothing in practice and has never done anything here at all. He has done well at the similar tracks, though, so that's intriguing, but he's never led a lap here. 1 top 10 out of 13 races. I don't see it. Ross Chastain, well, he was 25 to 1 when the week started, and he does have 2 top 10s out of 3 next gens. Also has 3 top 10s in his last 4 races at New Hampshire. So this has definitely been an okay track for him. He has only started in the top 10 once, and that was last year when he finished 10th from the 8th position. And here he goes, starting 8th again. I just don't see it. I think you have better options. Now, Denny Hamlin's going to be interesting because, of course, it's Denny Hamlin. And we know Denny has been really good here. He's got 3 wins, led almost 800 laps. He has 11 top 5s out of 31. But remember, his average starting position here in 3 next-gen races was 16th. But his finishes here, 2 top 10s. That's it. Never top 5. And you have to keep that in mind. But the good thing is Toyota, he's starting in the top 10. All right. And the average start of 16th. Now he's 9th. So now all of a sudden you would think that he's got a better car. He won at Dover this year, 2nd at Phoenix. So again, you go back to those similar tracks, and they're definitely working out for Denny Hamlin. And the other one, which CJ considered the most similar, was Martinsville, which Denny Hamlin won as well. So here's the thing, though. 6 to 1 is a good number. 5 to 1, I got to think about it, but okay. Anything less than that, I'm not interested. But Denny Hamlin is definitely, he's an option. Okay, he's definitely an option. But remember, he did not qualify in the top 5, so there's that. I know I'm nitpicking. Moving on. And AJ, I think, and I will say this: now that we're getting outside the top 10, there's only 4 drivers that I would consider, that I really would feel like I'm going to get behind. Because again, remember, the 3 next gen races tell you got to qualify up front. That's what's been winning here. So I can't really go too much further outside the top 10. So the only 4 drivers I'm going to go with are going to be AJ 12th, Gibbs 13th, Wallace 14th, and I'll shoot all the way down here to Priest 23rd. Okay, Priest has got the Ford, and then you've got the 2 Toyota drivers, Gibbs and Wallace. So I definitely think that matters. Also, Priest, like Logano, these are local drivers, so they're going to have that going for them. Let's start with AJ, who had an excellent practice run. So that definitely matters. So that would be qualified for me, like top 2 or 3 practice run. He was fastest in Group A. So again, it's kind of hard, as we've said before. He doesn't have a history here, though. He's never done anything that really jumps out at you. But the fact that he qualified 12th and had a really good practice run says, all right, it was 100-1 a few days ago. It's not the worst idea in the world. AJ's had his moments the last few months. I still wouldn't go with him. He's not my top long shot, but he is somebody that you might want to consider as a long shot. Now, Gibbs, this is a little bit better because Gibbs is driving a Toyota. We know how much. Just want to check and see is this one of CJ's picks? Yes, this was CJ's long shot pick, Gibbs. So Gibbs is driving a Toyota. He was 13th, as you can see here in qualifying. And also, I felt, based on the metrics, I kind of felt, or my data, I kind of felt in practice that he had a top 7 car. So because of that, I think that's solid enough. He's driving a Toyota. The only problem is he's been here twice and he's shown us nothing. Wallace, this is CJ's second choice. Now, this is a little bit different because Wallace was 22-1. And since he's starting 14th, you should still get a good number on Wallace, about 20-1. What I like about Wallace is again, even though practice doesn't mean a whole lot, he was top 5 in practice, 14th in qualifying is okay, and he is driving a Toyota. In 3 next-gen races, he has a 3rd and an 8th place finish. And those 2 finishes did come when he qualified in the top 8. So that is something you might want to consider. Also, he was 3rd in Martinsville. All right. So look, at 20-1, 22-1, this is a really good sleeper pick to keep an eye on. And then you have Priest. And I think the main thing with Priest is that, I think it's important that when you're in a non-playoff situation, drivers need all of the they need all of the desire, what is going to really get me going this week. And this is going to be the deal for Priest, because if he's going to win, this is the type of track he wants to win at, local kid and all that. He has never started in the top 20 before at this racetrack. And, he's not starting in the top 20 again, but he did have a top 7 practice run. So I think that should account for something. He was 11th last year when he started 31st. So he's a little bit closer here. I obviously would have preferred Ryan Priest in the top 10. If he was in the top 10 in qualifying, I'd be really behind him as a long shot. But yeah, I'm not very excited about where he's starting. And because of that, I'm just going to throw his name out there, but it's not somebody that I really am going to get behind, because I had John Hunter Nemechek as a long shot, and he has not shown anything yet. Let's throw in the rest of these qualifying drivers here. You can see here. I mean, look at this. Briscoe, Bell, Elliott, 27th. And there's John Hunter at 29th. So, yeah, some really disappointing runs, especially, Kyle Larson. He hasn't done anything. Taking a look at what we picked on Tuesday, and I would say right now, out of the 6 drivers that we picked on Tuesday, I don't know. I'm thinking that I don't want to talk for CJ, but CJ's top pick was Briscoe, which I was all behind. And he has just looked very disappointing so far. Wallace and Gibbs, I mentioned, were his other picks. My top pick was Hamlin. My other long shots were Keselowski and John Hunter. So I'm completely out of Keselowski and John Hunter now. And I don't think CJ is going to give up on Briscoe, of course, but you should get better odds now. because Briscoe is one of the favorites at 7-1 or something like that. So you should still get a really good number for Chase. And I think that should, maybe I'm wrong, but because if Chase Briscoe is 8-1, 9-1, and he's qualified 18th and his practice speed was slow, then you're not getting a fair break from the odds makers. 10-1 would be the minimum that I would say, you know what? Okay, I know he's starting a little bit further back than I'd like, but I'll go with it. So maybe you get a little bit of a break there with the odds if you haven't decided to take Briscoe yet. But if you haven't decided to take him yet, I don't see any reason why you would want to jump on him now. So Christopher Bell, here's the big story. He's starting 19th, and he was slow in practice, and yet he comes in at 3-1, double the odds than any other driver in this race, because in 11 races, around 3 different NASCAR series, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, he has 7 wins. That's 7 wins out of 11. He's got 2 wins in 3 next gen, as I mentioned before. And he also has 4 Xfinity Series wins in 4 Xfinity Series races. And he has a truck win. So this has been a monster track for him. But here is the problem. In the next gen alone, let's just forget the Xfinity and truck. He started 4th. He was on the pole, and he started 5th. Here, he's starting 19th, and his practice was slow. So it's not resembling anything that we saw that we saw previously here, which leads me to believe that the odds are going to change. Maybe you'll now get 5 or 6-1. Maybe he won't be 3 or 4-1, like I said just before. Maybe Blaney should be the favorite. I think he actually should be, which you lose value on Blaney now. But yeah, if you're even considering Christopher Bell, you better get at least double the odds, 6-1, 7-1. If you get that, think about it. But I'd be all out on Christopher Bell now. He just won last week. We know how hard it is to win back-to-back weeks. Even though, of course, it's the playoffs and winning matters. We all know that. But the main thing is we go through these 3 race setups, and it's your mindset really should be we're starting over again, because I get a win, I move on. If I don't, then, and maybe I have a bad race, then I'm behind the 8 ball all of a sudden after winning the race the previous week, which really didn't mean anything because he was going to get to the next round anyway. Still, it's kind of hard to win back-to-back weeks. And maybe, I don't know, this is just bad. This is a bad way to start the weekend for Christopher Bell. So he's lost all value. Kyle Larson. Look, we've been sour on Larson for a couple of months now, even though I think one of us each maybe have tried to give him a shot along the way by picking him here or there. But it's just not happening for Kyle. And you can see it here again, slow in qualifying, slow in practice. Look, his average starting position at this track is 14th in next gen, and here he is starting 16th. So this is just normal for him. He does have a couple top 5s here in the last 2 years, even with those poor starts. But fact is, Kyle Larson is not in a good run right now, and it's showing again here on Saturday. Look at Chase Elliott. Elliott has 2 top 5s out of 11. One was a runner-up a few years ago in the first next-gen race. He was on the pole last year, but finished 18th. And just like Blaney, his average starting position is good, 5.4 in 3 next-gen. In his last 5, this is actually in his last 5 races at New Hampshire, 5.4 starting position, average finish 11.8. And now he's starting all the way. Wait, he's not even on the board here. He's all the way back here at 27. So, yeah, Chase Elliott is definitely not the way to go today. And I think we've run through everybody. So let's just go ahead and give you our final analysis and what we would do. Definitely, we're behind Blaney all the way. I think he should be the favorite. I also think Logano should be definitely considered as long as you're getting 6 or 7-1. I would definitely look at Reddick, who as long as you're getting double-digit odds. And I would stick with Hamlin. He was my top pick the other day, and I think he's in a good enough position in the top 10. Sooner or later, someone in New Hampshire next gen is going to win, starting outside the top 5, and who knows, maybe it's Hamlin in this season. So that's what I would do. I would go. The cars I would be serious about are Logano, Blaney, Reddick. Let me move this into position. Logano, Blaney, Reddick, Hamlin. And those would be the top drivers I'm serious about. Logano, Blaney, Reddick, and Hamlin. And then some sleepers. I would look at Berry. And I would look at AJ, Gibbs, and Wallace. Those would be the top sleepers. Keep this in mind too. It's obvious. You can see here the top 3 drivers coming out of practice of qualifying are Fords, and I think that should be taken into consideration. But here's also the thing. Chevy had 7 of the top 12 drivers overall. That's pretty good. Toyota, 2 of the top 12. Very unusual considering Toyota has been the dominant manufacturer here for the 3 next-gen races at New Hampshire. And that is going to wrap it up. So once again, we'll be back on Tuesday as we take a look at Kansas. And CJ will join me. Check out the links in the description too, because Kevin Rogers, he did his picks. So he has that up there. Also, you want to take a look at the DFS report at rotowire.com from CJ. So take a look at that. All link in the description, and watch our show on Tuesday. You don't have to watch the whole show, but there are definitely points in the show that you can check out when we go over the key trends and things of that nature that you really need to dive into. Those are things that make a lot of sense. And a lot of what we said last week, a lot of what we said on Tuesday, to me, has really looked the part today. Nothing has surprised me at all, except maybe Toyota not being as fast in qualifying. But really, for the most part, practice not really looking like it mattered, and qualifying looking like it does. And I think we have enough quality drivers in the top 10 to choose from, and we'll see if that holds up tomorrow. And leave some questions, comments, anything that you like, that you would want some feedback on, whether it's myself or CJ. We'll be definitely glad to respond to you. Anything at all, let us know. And we'll see you again on Tuesday when we preview Kansas right here on ProLine TV.